check the logs to see if they accessed any sensitive data.
Whatever they need, just stay out of their way.
What's up, Division 2 agents? Welcome back to the channel. It's The Werewolf Gaming, back in action. And today, agents, I got a rifle that a lot of agents has been sleeping on, but overall, this is an amazing gun. And that gun we're referring to is the Baker's Dozen. It is one of those weapons that quietly flies under the radar. On paper, it looks like it's missing something important. And that thing is basically there's no traditional damage talent boosting the weapon damage, crits, or headshots. Because of that, a lot of players overlook it. But once you understand how this rifle actually works, you realize why it is still one of the most consistent and punishing rifles in the game right now. The Baker's Dozen basically comes with the perfect lucky shot talent. Instead of increasing raw damage, this talent focuses on forgiveness and sustained pressure. Every shot missed has a high chance to be returned directly to your magazine. And when you land your shots, you are rewarded. What this means in real gameplay is simple. You can stay on the target longer, take more aggressive shots, and maintain pressure without constantly reloading, which is huge in longer engagements. That consistency is exactly why this rifle shines. It may not spike damage with a flashy talent, but over time it delivers reliable, uninterrupted DPS, making it especially strong in tougher content where missed shots and reload downtime can get you killed. With a few smart gear adjustments, this rifle can absolutely hold its own in legendary content, no question. But for today's video, we're focusing on heroic gameplay to show how smooth, forgiving, and effective this setup really is in real combat. So with that said, let's break down the build and show you why the Baker's Dozen is still a sleeper powerhouse. So agents, like I stated earlier, to start the show will be the Baker's Dozen rifle. This gun is amazing. Overall, as you can see, it's fully maxed out with a weapon expertise of 30%. And I do recommend you roll that third talent to, attribute actually, to damage the target out of cover. The weapon handling on this gun is pretty decent. As you can see, we do have room for more improvement on our weapon handling, but on this build, it worked pretty good. All right, the talent is what truly shines on this gun. It's called Perfect Lucky Shot. Basically, your magazine capacity is increased by 30%. Missed shots from cover, so keep that in mind, you do have to be in cover, have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. So that mods, we do have 5% critical hit chance plus 5 rounds, and we are using the Link laser pointer on this build today. Secondary agents, we are using the Scorpio exotic shotgun. This can be obtained in the general loot pool, where anywhere where you have shotguns, you have a higher chance of obtaining it. This gun is amazing, but the talent is what truly stands out. It's called Septic Shock, and shooting the target applies stacks of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. Increasing stacks adds more severe debuffs to the target. At 2 stacks, you apply poison. At 4, you disorient. At 6, you apply shock. And at 9, targets taking an additional 20% damage from all sources, but stacks no longer occur. The duration of the status effects is based on the percentage of pellets on whenever you're hitting whatever target you hit. And your mods are 10% increased reload speed, critical hit chance, weapon handling, and stability. Sidearm, we are using the quick step pistol for that talent. Sport mode, which basically gives you 20% increase in movement speed, but this does not stack with any other movement speed bonuses in the game. Agents, we are wearing 3-piece of the Zawa Doka Zeus set, which gives 15% increase in magazine, 20% increase in rifle damage, and 30% increase in weapon handling. For the core attribute, we do have weapon damage core, and all the attributes on these gear pieces agents will be either critical hit chance or critical hit damage. For the chest piece, we are wearing 1 piece of the Palisade Steelwork set, which gives 10% armor back on the kill when you do have 1 piece on. For the core attribute, we do have armor core, and those attributes again are either critical hit chance or critical hit damage. Now the talent that we do have rolled on this chest piece is called Spotter. This amplifies weapon and skill damage by 15% to opposed enemies. So that's 15% increase in amplified damage, as long as you're posting those enemies. The holster is the second piece of the zoo set. For the core attribute, we do have weapon damage core, and again, those attributes are critical hit chance or critical hit damage. For the knee pads agents, we are rocking the Fox's Prayer knee pads, which is a part of the Overlord armament set. One piece gives you 10% increase in rifle damage. For the core attribute, we do have a weapon damage core, and that attribute that comes automatically on these knee pads is that 8% damage to target or cover, and we do have a 12% critical hit damage attribute on. For the gloves agents, we are utilizing the Overdog exotic gloves. The core attribute comes automatically with a weapon damage core, and the attributes are critical hit chance and critical hit damage. The talent is what truly shines on these gloves. It is called Weakest Link. He basically amplifies weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemies currently in combat as per the tier hierarchy. So agents, you start at tier 3, work your way up, but the main goal should be to fire at all times, and at some point you will be getting that 30% increase in amplified weapon damage. And the backpack is the third piece of the zoo set. For the core attribute, we do have a weapon damage core, and again, those attributes are critical hit chance or critical hit damage. The talent we did roll on the backpack agents is called Bloodsucker, and killing an enemy adds a stack of 10% bonus armor for 10 seconds. This stacks up to 10 times, so that's 100% in bonus armor, and each kill does refresh this talent. So overall, that is great to help keep you alive. Now, there are some other options if you don't want to utilize the Bloodsucker talent, such as the Adrenaline Rush talent. That will work great as well. Now, agents, as you can see in the gameplay, we are not using any global or seasonal modifiers whatsoever. We are using the Crocheted Shield, just give us a little bit of extra protection while playing a heroic. It does scale with the number of blue and yellow cores you have in your build, and we do have it at a tier 2, and part of that, we do have it at tier 2 because of one of our passives that is coming from my class Specialization. And we are using the Revival Hive just in case we go down. We get a second chance to get back up, because on heroic, if you go down, you will have to restart that mission all over. As far as weapon stats, we are sitting right there at a base damage of 636,201 weapon damage with the Baker's Dozen. Critical hit chance 51%. The cap is 60, so we can change some of those mods to get a little bit more, but that 51% was working pretty good in the gameplay. We do have a critical hit damage right there at 158% with 80% headshot damage. Accuracy is 40%, stability is 40%, and we do have a weapon swap speed of 30%. As far as armor on this build, agents, this build is pretty squishy, so you do need that shield. And we're sitting right there at 913,016 armor with 91,302 armor back on the kill. 0 armor regeneration on this build. So overall, this build is very squishy, but you do a lot of damage, so if you can take those enemies out pretty quickly, you will be able to survive on heroic content. And as always, agents, a lot of my core attributes, I do have it so I can change and add more armor if necessary. So, if you need a little bit more armor to be able to survive, I would recommend you change some of those core attributes to armor core, and that way you give it a little bit more chance to survive. Let's take a look at our class Specialization. We are utilizing the Technician, primarily because some of the passives. One thing I do like about this class is it does 12% damage, increasing damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics. So that is great for helping you take those machines out pretty quickly. Your armor kits also apply to all friendly skill proxies within 10 meters. And another great thing about this class Specialization is it gives you that 1+1 skill tier. Now, the Artificial Hive is another unique talent that comes, skill that comes with this class Specialization. And what it does is it sends out electro booster drones that expend themselves to increase allied skill efficiency and refresh their duration. It periodically releases a drone while it is holstered. This drone only affects your skills though, so overall it improves your skill efficiency and everything if you did want to use that. One last thing, agents, don't forget to equip the correct weapon element to get your bonus and 15% increase in weapon damage. As you can see, I didn't even have my shotgun element equipped at the time, but overall it was still doing pretty good damage. Now, you must have the rifle element equipped anyway, agents, to be able to have access to the linked laser pointer. This right here is very important for this build because what it does is pulses targets at which you aim, so you continuously get that pulse. And since you're continuously pulsing those enemies, agents, you will be taking advantage of the talent that you do have on your chest, which is called Spotter. And basically that amplifies weapon damage by 15% and skill damage as well by 15% to those enemies that you're pulsing. So you're going to be constantly pulsing those enemies. Now, don't get me wrong, the Baker's Dozen, you cannot change the talent, but you still can put the laser pointer on that. And as you can see, the chest piece, agents, again, that's the talent, the Spotter talent, which amplifies damage. And amplified damage in this game, agents, is multiplicative damage. So it basically, after everything else has been added in, it will boost the overall amount of damage you're doing to those targets in the game. Now there is a chest piece called the perfect, well actually called a closer chest piece, and this chest piece is amazing, and I do use this from time to time, but it comes with a talent perfect spotter. Now this amplifies weapon damage and skill damage by 20%. So if you was to use this and use the regular M1A rifle and put the talent up there, that the flatline talent, agents, you can get up on this build, you can get basically you can get 15% added amplified damage with your gun. Now you take the chest piece, and which is the spotter, which is the closer chest piece, which gives you perfect spotter talent. That is an additional 20%. That's 35% right there. And whenever you get the talent to proc that is on your exotic gloves, the overdog gloves, that is another additional 30% increase in amplified damage. So in total, agents, you can get up to 65% increase in amplified damage if you were to use the regular M1A rifle instead of the name M1A rifle, which is the Baker's Dozen. But overall, I enjoy the Baker's Dozen because you won't have to worry about ammo too much with this gun, and it does pretty good damage as you've seen in the gameplay. And another reason why I went with the Palisade Steelwork chest piece is because it's giving you that 10% armor back on the kill, which you don't have with the Technician class Specialization. And I believe that is very important in helping you survive. But overall, agents, you can put that spotter chest on if you want more damage, and you can even change the talent on your backpack if needed to be able to do more damage as well. But this build works pretty good, and I do recommend you give it a try. As always, agents, I appreciate each and every one of you for your valuable time and continued support. It really does mean a lot. Alright, agents, stick around for the rest of the gameplay. Two other things I do want to mention is that, one, your wife's expertise needs to be at least level 1000. To be at the baseline, I'm doing the same amount of damage as I am doing in the gameplay. And another factor that will play a part is your expertise level. The highest level in the game right now is 30%, so you can get up to 30% additional weapon damage. But agents, I guarantee if you was to try this build without that expertise level being maxed, this build should work pretty good in my opinion. With that being said, these builds are always just templates. Always change up these builds so that they work for you. And at the end of the day, agents, it's all about just changing up these gear pieces and items to make the game fun for you. This is just what I am using. With that being said, agents, stay strong, stay sharp. D-Werewolf out.
Copy? Anyone? What a shit show. Boss, Schaefer, total washout. You want me to rebuild the unit? Stop sending me fucking clowns. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go shoot myself in the fucking head.
Sounds like you hurt Schaefer's feelings.